What if the hot mug of tea you cup in your hands every morning, the wholesome brew you drink to wake up, unwind, or soothe a sore throat, is actually delivering a slow, daily dosage of synthetic agricultural chemicals and probable carcinogens straight into your body? It sounds dramatic, but today we are tearing the lid off the Australian tea industry to reveal a reality that food giants hope you never look into. Independent laboratory screenings have caught over 22 distinct pesticide residues riding piggyback inside a single commercial tea bag. We are talking about probable carcinogens lurking inside popular detox blends, bedtime herbal teas, and even the gentle chamomile parents pour for their restless children. While you were steeping your morning brew, one global corporation quietly pulled nearly 900,000 tea bags off Australian shelves because pesticide contamination blew right past legal limits. Nobody ran a primetime television campaign. Nobody sent you an alert. You were never told. Today, we are putting 10 household tea brands sold across Australia under the spotlight, including names you buy every week at Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, and Chemist Warehouse, before revealing 5 genuinely clean alternatives that actually pass independent testing. Stay with us because the most shocking offender on this list is a household icon almost every Australian family trusts without second thought. Dot. By the time you finish watching this video, you will know exactly what is floating inside your mug, how corporate manufacturers hide chemical treatments behind clean green packaging, and how to spot red flags on any supermarket shelf so you never get tricked again. You will walk away with an insider cheat sheet that puts you miles ahead of the average shopper who blindly trusts a colourful box. But before we drop specific brand names, we need to talk about how a simple dried leaf ends up carrying a cocktail of industrial chemistry. Dot. Tea is one of the most heavily consumed beverages on the planet, but unlike apples, spinach, or lettuce, raw tea leaves are almost never washed between the farm and your teacup. When tea leaves are harvested en masse across massive commercial plantations, they are plucked, withered, rolled, and dried directly after picking. If a plantation sprays synthetic insecticides, fungicides, or crop desiccant chemicals onto those plants, those residues bake directly onto the leaf surface. When you pour boiling water over that unwashed tea bag in your kitchen, you are performing a warm liquid extraction. High heat doesn't destroy these compounds, it strips them out of the dried plant material and dissolves them directly into the liquid you sip. Dot. The industrial tea business operates on colossal scales, relying on aggressive chemical applications to protect monoculture crops from pests in humid climates. But leaves are only half the problem. The tea bag itself is a hidden delivery system for synthetic compounds. To prevent a cheap paper filter from dissolving into pulp the second hot water hits it, manufacturers reinforce the paper fibers with wet-strength resins. One of the most common industrial compounds used for this is epichlorohydrin. Dot. Epichlorohydrin is a heavy-duty chemical building block used to produce plastics, epoxy resins, and wet-strength paper treatments. The United States Environmental Protection Agency classifies epichlorohydrin as a probable human carcinogen, and animal studies demonstrate that when it comes into contact with hot water, it hydrolyzes into 3-MCPD, a compound known to induce toxicity and tumors in laboratory models. Yet, because the paper bag is legally categorized as packaging rather than a food ingredient, companies are under zero legal obligation to list epichlorohydrin on the box. You get the full chemical dose in your steep with absolute zero disclosure on the label. Dot. Then comes the corporate takeover play. Over the last 3 decades, small independent health tea brands built on organic ideals and careful origin sourcing were systematically bought out by global food conglomerates. When a multinational corporation takes over a niche tea brand, the founding story stays printed on the cardboard, but the supply chain gets merged into mass-market commodity purchasing. Farm-level scrutiny disappears, replaced by volume blending, where leaves from dozens of unverified farms are mixed together to hit a low-cost target. The consumer keeps paying a premium for a historical reputation, entirely unaware that the contents inside the bag drifted into commodity status years ago. Now that you understand how the chemistry enters the cup, it is time to look at the 10 brands sitting on Australian shelves that rely on your silence. Dot. Let's quotes get straight into the wall of shame sitting on Australian supermarket shelves, starting from budget staples and working our way up to the most trusted, heritage-cloaked brands sitting in your pantry. Dot. Number 10. Tetley. Nobody has strong feelings about Tetley. It's the ubiquitous British heritage box that sits on the bottom shelf at Woolworths and Coles for about $5 for a pack of 100, a tiny 5 cents a cup. It's cheap, unassuming, and for millions of Aussies, it's the default office kitchen tea. Owned by Indian conglomerate Tata Consumer Products, Tetley relies on massive industrial blending facilities. Independent pesticide screening across commercial black teas has repeatedly flagged multiple synthetic pesticide residues in mass-market Tetley lines. Worse yet, their standard paper bags rely on epichlorohydrin wet-strength resin to stop them falling apart in boiling water. When you steep it, the hot liquid extracts the tea along with trace chemical residues. Toxicologist Dr. Aris Sadotti notes that while individual chemical levels may meet baseline regulatory maximums, daily cumulative exposure from a 3-cup-a-day habit is where the real risk lies. Tetley gives you a flat, astringent brew that leaves a dry, chemical aftertaste on the back of your tongue. And at 5 cents a mug, you are getting exactly the industrial chemistry you paid for. Number 9. Harney & Sons. You've seen these ornate vintage-style tins sitting on high-end shelves at David Jones, Harris Farm, or boutique Sydney cafes, selling for $24 a tin, roughly 80 cents per single sachet. The fancy tin and gold lettering signal that you're dealing with a sophisticated product chosen by someone with refined standards. Founded in New York, the brand built its reputation on artisanal, loose-leaf quality. But when independent laboratory testing examined their commercial bagged product lines, the narrative cracked wide open. Tests detected agricultural pesticide residues, including synthetic pyrethroids, at levels indistinguishable from mass-market commodity tea. Furthermore, their classic pyramid and paper sachets tested positive for wet-strength resins and plastic polymers that release microplastics and chemical compounds upon contact with 95-degree water. You open the tin, expect an aromatic brew, but end up with an uncomfortably perfume-heavy cup that masks underlying bitterness. Harney & Sons charges you a 300% markup for a metal box, while filling it with the exact same unwashed commodity leaf chemistry as budget brands. Number 8. Stash Tea. Positioned as the funky, herbal alternative in the tea aisle at IGA and local health food shops, Stash charges around $7.50 for a box of 20 bags, about 38 cents a serve. Originally born out of Portland's 1970s natural foods movement, Stash built its brand on clean, ethical sourcing. What the label doesn't prominently tell Australian consumers is that Stash was acquired by Japanese commercial giant Yamamoto Yama, shifting production to mass global sourcing. Independent residue panels flagged multiple pesticide traces across various Stash herbal and green tea lines, alongside standard paper bag epichlorohydrin treatment. Take a sip of their peppermint or lemon ginger. Instead of a crisp botanical note, there's a strange metallic tang that lingers on your palate. The founding hippie story remains printed on the side of the box, but the corporate supply chain running behind it tells a completely different story. If you're already itching to check your own pantry right now, hit that subscribe button because it only gets rougher from here. Number 7. Twinings. This one hurts. Twinings is an Australian household institution, occupying massive real estate in every Coles and Woolies across the country. Carrying the royal warrant and boasting over 300 years of English heritage, a box of Twinings Earl Grey or English breakfast sets you back around $7 for 50 bags, 14 cents a cup. People buy it because the brand feels like a guarantee of royal standards and old-world care. But Twinings is owned by Associated British Foods, a massive multinational corporation. Independent testing reported by consumer advocacy groups found multiple pesticide residues across popular Twinings black and green tea samples sold globally and locally, including neonicotinoid insecticides linked to environmental harm and potential neurotoxicity. Their standard paper bags also utilize epichlorohydrin paper treatments. When brewed, Twinings delivers an overly tannic, harsh bitter note that requires milk and sugar to mask. That 300-year-old royal warrant is a brilliant marketing asset. But laboratory mass spectrometers don't care about royal seals. They only measure chemical compounds floating in your mug. Number 6. Community Co. or Woolworths Macro Organic Tea. Store brands are hugely popular across Australia. Woolworths Macro Organic line promises a clean, pesticide-free alternative at an accessible $4.50 a box or 22 cents a bag. Shoppers pick it up assuming the certified organic seal makes it completely immune to contamination. But here is the industry secret. While organic certification regulates what farmers can intentionally spray in the field, it doesn't guarantee testing for cross-contamination during international shipping, shared processing machinery, or bag chemical composition. Testing reveals that organic paper tea bags frequently contain the same epichlorohydrin resins used in conventional lines because bag materials fall under packaging regulations, not food standards. The tea itself tastes remarkably bland, often consisting of fine, dusty fannings that steep into a muddy, flat liquid within seconds. You pay a premium for store-brand organic virtue, but end up drinking industrial packaging chemistry wrapped around low-grade tea dust. Number 5. Tazo Tea. Tazo made its name in Australia through its long-standing presence in Starbucks outlets and premium grocery displays, retailed at $8.50 a box, 42 cents per bag. With bold, mystic packaging and complex spice blends, Tazo presents itself as an artisanal craft tea. In reality, Tazo was bought by corporate giant Unilever, the exact same corporate parent that built the global Lipton empire. Independent lab reports showed pesticide residues in Tazo blends identical to those found in mass-market commodity lines, running on the same globalized supply network. Steep a cup of Tazo chai or Zen green tea, and you'll notice an artificial, overpowering aroma designed to hide a dry, astringent base leaf. The price gap between Tazo and basic commodity tea isn't buying you cleaner leaves or safer bag materials. It's simply funding a brand acquisition markup. Number 4. Lipton, the undisputed king of Australian pantries. Lipton quality black tea is the yellow box every Aussie grew up with, sitting in every school staff room and office canteen, costing a dirt cheap $4 for 100 bags, 4 cents a cup. Owned by corporate heavyweight Ecoterra, Lipton operates at a scale where volume is everything. Independent testing panel investigations have repeatedly caught Lipton products carrying multiple pesticide residues, including bifenthrin, a synthetic pyrethroid insecticide classified as a potential human carcinogen. To make matters worse, Lipton's classic paper tea bags are heavily treated with epichlorohydrin wet-strength resin. Consider an Aussie who drinks 3 cups of Lipton daily for 30 years. That is over 32,000 cups of hot water extracting bifenthrin traces and epichlorohydrin derivatives straight into their body. Lipton brews into a dark, harsh, aggressively bitter liquid that tastes more like boiled bark than fresh leaves. It's cheap, it's everywhere, and it is the ultimate example of industrial compromise. Number 3. Yogi tea. Walk into Chemist Warehouse, Go Vita, or the health aisle at Coles, and you'll find Yogi tea selling for roughly $8.50 a box, 42 cents a sachet. Yogi markets directly to health-conscious consumers with targeted names like detox, bedtime, and immune support, invoking ancient Ayurvedic wellness principles. But in 2024, a massive global recall forced nearly 900,000 Yogi tea bags off retail shelves after official testing detected pesticide residues exceeding government safety limits. Independent screens had previously detected propochlor, a probable carcinogen, and acetamiprid in herbal varieties marketed explicitly for health restoration. When a consumer drinks a detox tea, they expect to clean their system, not ingest agricultural chemicals. The tea brews into an earthy, heavy herbal liquor that smells wholesome, but laboratory data proves that the wellness promise on the front of the box completely collapses under scrutiny. Number 2. Celestial seasonings. Famous for its Sleepytime bear, chamomile fields, and nostalgic artwork, Celestial Seasonings is a staple at Woolworths and IGA, priced around $6.50 for 20 bags, 32 cents a serve. Parents regularly pour Sleepytime chamomile for anxious kids or brew it before bed. However, Celestial Seasonings was hit with major class action litigation after independent lab tests revealed widespread pesticide contamination across their product range, detecting traces of propochlor and organophosphate pesticides in teas marketed specifically for sleep and relaxation. Owned by Hain Celestial Group, the brand operates as a mass-market corporate entity where ingredient sourcing is driven by commercial scale. Brew a cup of Sleepytime, and while the chamomile scent is soothing, you are steeping leaves sourced from commercial farms that rely on chemical controls. Giving a child a bedtime tea contaminated with pesticide residues is a disturbing reality for parents who trusted the wholesome bear on the box. Number 1. Aldi Diplomat Tea / Coles Reliable Black Tea. Sitting right at the top of our list as the most ubiquitous yet unchecked offender is the private label staple found in millions of budget-conscious homes across Australia. Aldi's Diplomat Tea sells for a rock-bottom $2.20 for 100 bags, a ludicrous 2 cents per cup. There is zero organic certification, zero published residue testing, and zero sourcing transparency. These private label teas utilize the absolute lowest grade tea dust, sourced from mass commodity auctions where chemical usage is heavily applied. The paper bags are treated with industrial epichlorohydrin resins to keep cheap paper from dissolving in boiling water. When you pour boiling water over a Diplomat bag, the water immediately turns a murky, dark, reddish brown, producing a harsh, metallic brew that stings the throat unless drowned in milk. The budget price tag is undeniably attractive during a cost of living crisis, but paying 2 cents a cup means accepting an unverified cocktail of agricultural chemicals and paper processing resins. It is the ultimate illusion of a cheap comfort. Right, here comes the part that made watching this far worth it. We are pivoting away from corporate chemical cocktails to 5 genuine, verified brands sitting on Australian shelves that pass testing, disclose sourcing, and deliver clean, uncompromised tea. We're ranking them from accessible budget heroes up to premium specialists, so there's a safe choice for every wallet. Best option number 5, Pucker Herbs. Pukka is widely available at Woolworths, Coles and Chemist Warehouse for around $9 a box, 45 cents a serve. Founded in Bristol by an Ayurvedic practitioner, Pukka built its operational model on farm-level traceability and rigorous residue verification. Every product line is certified organic, fair for life and fair wild. Their tea bags are completely plastic-free, stitched with organic cotton, and made from unbleached paper fibers without epichlorohydrin resins. Pukka publishes transparent third-party pesticide testing documentation, proving that their herbal blends, like Relax, 3-Ginger and Detox, contain zero synthetic pesticide residues. When you steep a cup of Pukka nighttime, you get a rich, sweet floral note of chamomile and lavender with absolute zero chemical aftertaste. It is slightly pricier than supermarket commodity brands, but you are paying for independent verification that bridges the gap between marketing claims and actual chemical safety. Best option number 4, traditional medicinals. Available in the health aisle at Woolworths, Chemist Warehouse, and local health shops for around $7.50 a pack, 46 cents a bag. Operating independently for over 50 years without ever selling out to a global food conglomerate, this brand treats tea like a true botanical standard rather than a commodity filler. Certified organic, non-GMO project verified, and utilizing strict pharmacopeal quality testing for every batch of herbs, Traditional Medicinals tests for heavy metals, microbial contaminants, and over 500 synthetic pesticides before a single batch gets packed. Their bags contain zero epichlorohydrin or plastic heat-sealing polymers. Brew their chamomile and lavender or throat coat herbal tea, and the liquid is aromatic, deeply soothing, and clean on the palate. It is an ideal pick for parents seeking a safe, pure herbal infusion for their family that completely holds up under lab scrutiny. Best option number 3. Higher Living Organic Tea. Stocked across Coles, Woolworths, and independent supermarkets nationally for around $5 a box, 25 cents per bag. Higher Living is an independent British family-owned business that packs its teas in 100% recyclable, plastic-free packaging with unbleached paper bags free from epichlorohydrin. Certified by the Soil Association and Australian ACO organic standards, they maintain direct supply relationships with organic tea gardens. Laboratory screenings confirm clean residue profiles across their green tea, chamomile, and English breakfast varieties. When you steep a cup of Higher Living Earl Grey, you get a bright, fragrant citrus oil infusion paired with smooth, clean tea leaves without the astringent, bitter chemical burn found in cheap commodity alternatives. It delivers full organic verification at a price point that barely exceeds standard supermarket lines, making it an extraordinary middle ground choice for everyday drinking. Best option number 2, Planet Organic Tea. Proudly Australian-owned and processed right here in Queensland, Planet Organic is available at health food stores, Harris Farm markets and online stockists for roughly $7.50 for 25 bags, 30 cents a cup. Planet Organic sources strictly ACO-certified organic tea leaves and herbs, completely bypassing international commodity supply chains that contaminate commercial blends. Their unbleached paper bags are heat-sealed mechanically without synthetic chemical resins, glues, or epichlorohydrin wet-strength agents. Independent lab testing confirms zero detectable synthetic pesticide residues across their entire line, including their popular peppermint, green tea, and chamomile blends. Steeping a mug of Planet Organic green tea produces a delicate, naturally sweet, grassy liquor that feels refreshingly clean. It carries a slight price premium over basic store brands, but every cent goes directly toward local Australian quality control, pure sourcing, and verified packaging safety. Best option number 1, Narada Organic and Australian-grown black tea. Sitting firmly at the top of our list as the single best choice for Australian households is a homegrown champion. Found on the shelves of every Woolworths, Coles, and IGA across the country, Narada's Australian-grown black tea sells for a remarkably accessible $3 for 50 bags, or just 6 cents a cup. Grown on the pristine, high-altitude Atherton tablelands in far north Queensland, Narada tea is cultivated in an environment where natural climatic conditions eliminate the need for synthetic pesticide applications. Narada proudly advertises its Australian-grown black tea as completely pesticide-free, a claim backed by regular independent laboratory testing. Furthermore, their paper tea bags contain zero epichlorohydrin resins, offering a pure, unbleached filter. It steeps into a robust, smooth, full-bodied black tea with a crisp, clean finish that completely outclasses Lipton and Tetley. Narada proves that you don't need to spend luxury money to keep industrial chemistry out of your morning mug. A clean, safe, pesticide-free cup of tea has been sitting on your local Woolies bottom shelf all along at 6 cents a serve. Now that you know which brands pass test day and which ones rely on corporate secrecy, here is your 5-step cheat sheet for navigating the tea aisle at Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, or Chemist Warehouse. First, look for certified organic seals on the box, specifically Australian Certified Organic, ACO, or USDA Organic. While organic certification doesn't guarantee clean bag chemistry, it legally prohibits synthetic pesticide spraying in the field. Second, check tea bag composition. Avoid silky nylon or pyramid bags that shed microplastics, and steer clear of paper bags that don't explicitly state unbleached or plastic-free on the packaging. Third, search the box for the words unbleached, staple-free, and resin-free. If a brand uses epichlorohydrin-free paper, they will brag about it on the box. If they say nothing, assume standard wet-strength paper. Fourth, look for loose-leaf options where possible. Loose-leaf tea completely eliminates the bag chemistry issue, cuts cost per serve, and gives you whole leaves rather than industrial sweepings. Fifth, favour local Australian-grown produce like Atherton Tablelands tea, where low pest pressures mean growers don't rely on synthetic sprays. The core lesson here isn't that tea is inherently dangerous. It's that global corporate consolidation has turned a pure, simple beverage into an exercise in supply chain cost-cutting. When a multinational brand buys a beloved tea label, marketing budgets stay high while sourcing standards quietly drop. You end up paying for heritage logos and pretty tins while steeping unwashed leaves in chemical resins. Breaking out of that trap doesn't require spending a fortune. It just requires shifting your mindset from trusting brand heritage to demanding independent verification. Thanks for watching today's investigation. If this video opened your eyes to what's floating inside your morning mug, share it with a friend or family member who drinks tea every day and has never read the side of the box. You might just save them from years of unneeded chemical exposure. Drop a comment below and let me know, which of these 10 brands is sitting in your pantry right now? And will you be swapping it out on your next Woolies run? Check out our channel for more deep dives exposing everyday household products. And remember, scrutinize the label before you steep. Stay informed, shop smart, and take care of your body.